to lie, can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie, can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie. Ain't no Chico, just be smooth.
All right, what's up, y'all? Bill McCleskey in the building once again with TechDontSleep Podcast, and we got another one for you. This is season 2. We're excited, and you know our goal is always to bring you all some guests that can offer value and where you can take some practical knowledge or takeaways that you can apply to your life, your business, and whatever journey you're on, especially as it relates to technology. So today we have Lena Winfree and Holly Rachel of Blacks in Technology Foundation, yes. Correct? And more specifically, the Nashville chapter, yes. Okay? And we're going to talk about some things that they're doing, why they started the organization, why it exists, nationally and here in Nashville, what they're doing, how you can plug in, and also what they're doing with their technology business as well. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, it's a beautiful day outside, so yes. I mean, I'm glad y'all made it in. I'm glad you took your gum out, and now we can start this conversation. But listen, first of all, my first question is, how long have y'all known each other? Long time?
Well, it's been at least 7 years, I think.
Okay.
So about 7 years, because I'm thinking about the baby's age when I met you. So, yeah, about 7 years.
The reason I asked that is because you guys, usually partnerships are kind of unique. Mm-hmm. And you guys own a data analytics company as well. Yes. And then you're co-founders of the Nashville chapter for Blacks in Technology. So you're working together all the time, I assume. Mm-hmm. You're on the phone every night. And,
all the time. Yes.
Yeah, working with clients.
Absolutely correct.
Members of the organization. So you got to like each other. Mm-hmm. You got to gel. You got to be able to get along and be able to work out whatever you're trying to do. But tell us first why you guys decided to establish the chapter for Blacks in Technology here in Nashville.
Okay. You want to start?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So, like you were saying, Lena and I have known each other for a while. Mm-hmm. We started Rachel and Winfree Consulting together. And when we started that business, we, of course, immediately started looking for other people in the industry that looked like us. We wanted to see, hey, where are the other Black women business owners? Where are the other Black women in data? Where's the other Black people that own tech businesses or that are in technology? And it was a little bit hard to kind of find where they were all congregating, where they all at. So we picked up, people as we went. But whenever we would go to tech conferences, we don't see us. When we would go to these different meetup groups, we don't see us. So we're like, I know it's some Black people in technology out here. Like
you can see anybody, or you see very few people, Black
siloed.
people? Okay.
We saw pockets.
Yeah, like let's say I go to a tech conference. If it's not an Afro Tech or a conference specifically geared towards diversity, you might see 3 or 4.
Gotcha.
It was really
like pepper.
Yeah.
Oatmeal.
And this was like what, 2018, 2019. So it was kind of before the whole like diversity push situation, like before 2020, before the pandemic. And so, the visibility just wasn't there. And we knew that it's Black people in technology, so where are they at? And so then when we got the chance to start a chapter and we realized that there's this global organization out there, there's all these chapters, and there's not one in our area, we just felt like that was the chance to start what we had been looking for.
Yeah. So what's the purpose then of the organization? Is it kind of to migrate or create a community of Blacks in technology so that we know where to find these people?
Well, pretty much the hashtag is stomp the yard or start, so that we can actually find ways to insert ourselves. We're like, as known as 3% in the U.S. in terms of people in technology of color, Black people. And because of that 3%, we're trying to, let's invade, let's get in there. Like, let's stomp the divide, let's get in here and get it done. So the whole purpose of Blacks in Technology is to help grow and nurture, to help placement, help with advancement if you're already in the field, for those who aren't in the field and want to be. We give opportunities for that with scholarship and apprenticeships and all the different things that they offer that are constantly happening every month, you know. So these are the things we wanted to bring to Nashville. We knew that we were here, you know, we did. But again, it was very silent. We met this person, we met these people, we met this group, we met this institute, you know. So it was kind of like, well, where are we all congregating? Where are we all doing something together? Where are we're networking, putting our advancement all together, you know. So that was kind of like, you know, why we decided this is something we may want to do.
So why did you guys, how did you get the gumption to figure out we need to do that, y'all need to do it, versus, hey, somebody else should do it? You know what I mean? I'm serious because
that's a good question,
in Nashville, like, which is not a huge city, but it's not a small city, it's a metropolis city. And there was, I thought, another Blacks in Tech organization, or there's other, you know, organizations that may have segments or certain, you know, communities, groups within their organization, like the Black Chamber or whatever. So I'm just wondering, why did you guys say, and I think it's commendable, but to take that approach and say, hey, we're going to take ownership of this and we're going to establish this chapter from this global
you know,
organization.
I think Holly and I both, we saw that there was a Blacks in Technology, you know, and then, but at that time it was kind of, I guess, not happening. Or resolved. Well, I don't know if it was resolved, but it just wasn't very active, and we weren't sure if it was, you know. And so we did talk to the founder, and we were like, you know, once we established Blacks in Technology, we're like, hey, let's join up. Let's do what we can to make this even bigger. So we definitely wanted to make sure that everybody was involved.
Sure.
But I think when you're talking about the gumption, it's literally just deciding, hey, you know, I don't see it, let's get it done. And not everybody. Stump the divide. But
Stump the divide. I'm sorry.
But I do feel like, you know, for me and Holly, we've always been the type, even with the Rachel and Winfree data consulting, we saw that this was not here. We started off in STEM, you know, chemistry, biochem, you know, we both worked in laboratories. I did data science. I helped start up, you know, for some other people. But I realized, hey, you know what? These small businesses aren't doing this. There's a lot of people who look like us who are not data-driven, who don't have ways to make their business excel with knowing their numbers, you know? And so we were like, let's help our people out here with this, because really not knowing your numbers means you don't know what's going on in your business. You know, to be honest, you know, you don't know if you're losing, you know, I don't know how much in the carts. You know, you don't know if,
cards or,
you know, you just don't know until you know your numbers. So we were like, hey, let's get this out here so that our people are doing even better in business than, you know, our counterparts are at this point. So it's not even, sometimes it's gumption, but more about need and a solution.
Gotcha. Because you guys are entrepreneurs, so you saw a need and you want to fill in that gap. So you guys have been established for how long with the organization?
We just started
this is our first year.
Okay.
We just finished a year.
Okay, so roughly 12 months.
Yep.
And then, so tell us, like, what that journey has been about. First of all, it's a global organization, right? So what does it take, you know, how do you get the, you know, responsibility? How do they know you just don't call up and you know, they got to vet you, right?
They do.
Like, tell us about the vetting process of a global organization saying, hey, establish this chapter.
Yeah, there is a vetting process. Of course, you know, you can't just start a chapter. But you can, if you see that there's not a chapter, you can contact the organization and say, hey, this is something that I'd like to look into starting for my area. Then what happens is, essentially, you have an interview process. They go back and, if you, like we said, hey, we have a business. It's called Rachel and Winfree. They go back and look. Do you have a business? You know, they you know, talk to people. They just to make sure that you have been doing what you say you've been doing, and that, you know, it's going to be okay for them to put their brand essentially in your hands. So are you the type of person that's really committed to doing something in your area, and then can we vet that about you? So he definitely, like, you know, when we had our interview with the executive director, he had done his research. You know what I'm saying? He had seen that we had been working.
So
he saw what we did.
Track record,
And then you can start a chapter. You know, of course, you have to file all your paperwork. You have to be on the books. But after that, you can start a chapter. And I think one thing about your last question is that I'm noticing that Lena and I don't really ever have a problem being first at doing something. It's never, like you said, it's like hey, we see this. We were looking for this. I think we should do it because clearly in the past however many years it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
So I guess, if we want it, we got to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of kind of what we do. We just don't have a problem being first. It's something when we see that, hey, there's a gap here. This is something people can benefit from, and we want to bring it to our community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're honestly proud of being able to get the response we have. Our people have really responded, and we're very thankful for that. We knew there was a lot of people here, but we have over 400 members right now.
Wow.
Yep.
And that is...
In a year, y'all got 400 members.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So the people have spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were looking,
They were looking for
just
this.
like we were.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. I love it. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just really it's just highlighting what we're trying to do is we asked, what do y'all want to see? That was the first thing we did. We had our initial meeting. It was 20, 30 people maybe. What do you want to see? What do you want to know? What do you want to do? And they were like, oh, we want to know how to get into different corporations. So we did a panel with them. How to be this and how to go here and how to, so we took the top, hiring entities and they came out and said, hey, we need you and you need us. So here's how you get in. So we just want to do more of these things. Whatever they want in Nashville, locally, we want to be able to provide.
Yes.
Yeah. So over the past 12 months, it sounds like you guys have been figuring out what that need is, right, from your members, and then putting on events or hosting, panel discussions or forums about that, and you're doing that in person and virtually as well. What else are you guys doing? Is there anything else, or any strategic alliances you're making, or what's around the corner?
Yeah. So one of the bigger things, and it came out in the post, last month? Yes. That we did. BIT is sponsored an initiative for nonprofit clinics in the Tennessee or statewide Tennessee. We sponsored them to come through our healthcare analytics training program. Okay. And we did this because, again, a lot of our people can be vastly underserved in a lot of areas. And they have to go to free clinics in a lot of ways. Especially in the South. And so we noticed that COVID hit different for us. It really did. And so there's just not enough information out there about that. There's not enough data that represents that. So Holly and I say, hey, how can we affect change immediately? Yeah. So we took a lot of the prominent clinicians, and all of them have a variety of what they do. Some CFOs, some CIOs, some data analysts, just a lot of everything. Some nurses, some, whatever. And all of those free clinics that we talked to, we said, hey, you have anybody you want to send to this data analytics program so that you can know what your numbers are saying? And they were going, what? Yes. And so we were able to get HCA and Delta sponsor us to do this. Wow. So we created it and we implemented it, and now and NSS was nice enough to come through. And they're in their session now. We started
Nashville Software School.
Nashville Software School is also helping with this initiative. And so, it's something that we're really proud of. And Black in Technology started because we wanted to, let's know what our numbers say. When they go back and they go into their different clinics, they can now use Python, use all of these amazing tools to really figure out what's going on with our people. Because that's the majority of who they see. So we figured, hey, if we teach them, to use their information and their data, more data can come out for us so we can know more about what we need to be doing. And so this is what we mean by trying to find initiatives and programs that will allow us to really affect change.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That's crazy. You guys are very innovative, and you got the hustle and you got the gumption, but you got the intelligence to know, hey, here's where we can make the impact as well. So I think that's really cool. And that's a lesson too, like just for entrepreneurs, I think, period. You notice the gap, and then you have the courage to pursue filling that gap, providing a solution, but you do it in a creative way that's going to impact change, like you guys are doing. Yes. So when you, first of all, how'd y'all get 400 members in a year? I think a lot of people could figure that out.
I honestly think it's like she was saying, the people have spoken. They were looking for it.
So the need was
they wanted, because if you're a Black person in technology and you're working in corporate, some corporate places have ERGs where, that like they can get all of their minorities together, but then some don't. So a lot of Black people are still like the only Black person in my department, and and it's isolating, and so they're looking for that community where if they don't have it on their own, they're looking for it outside of that, and so it's like, okay, like they are, and I think that just being consistent and saying, hey, we're gonna do this every month, and we're gonna talk to you all and figure out what it is that you like to see, and we're just gonna consistently be there. I think that kind of let people know that, okay, they are trying to create a community for us and we want to be a part of it.
And we're serious about trying to let them know, hey, here's a program you asked for. Right. Come on out and let's go. Because,
that's a good point.
A lot of the times we're not even asking what a lot of people are putting on programs, but they're not asking people what they want.
What they want. What is most helpful to you.
What is helpful to you.
So you guys have a monthly, like, recurring meeting?
We have monthly meetings or events that happen every month. Okay. Every month there's something that's happening.
Yeah. And where can people find out about your events? On your website?
You can find it on really LinkedIn for sure. Okay. We're on Meetup.
So it's a Blacks in Technology page on LinkedIn. Okay.
For Nashville on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So there's a Blacks in Technology Nashville LinkedIn. Okay. We post every event there, as well as global initiatives are there as well. So everything that we're doing. Meetup, there's a Meetup group. Again, Blacks in Technology Nashville, and every event goes there as well. Okay. And
we also joined up with Fallon, so now we're going to start posting with the Facebook group for the other original BIT that was here. So we're trying to do that as well. We want as many people as possible to get what they want, and then tell us what they want.
Yeah. So. Is there a cost to be a member?
No. Nope.
So it doesn't cost you anything to be a member right now, or is that going to change later?
Well, it may change later globally, but globally, no. We're just trying to get as many people as we can to get these resources. Yeah. So right now, but I mean, there are some things that may cost, but we'll try to make it so that it's nominal, so you really can just do this. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Now, outside of what you've told me already, like getting 400 members, working with the nonprofit clinics and things like that, what has been another, it sounds like you've had a lot of success, but what's been another great success that you guys have had?
I think
or win or case study, so to speak.
Case study? Oh, I think for us, the best success for us has finally being able to link up with the people we really want to help. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, we've been able to actually reach some Black-owned businesses and help with their turnaround, help with their, logistics, help with their marketing teams, help with their, because data rules, man. I'm sorry, it does. Like, at the end of the day, if you know your data, you know what you're doing. Yeah. So that's been very important.
No, that's cool. So let's talk about that then, right quick, because when we talk, I don't think everybody really understands what you're saying. And I don't think I do. All right, so I understand. Just explain it for everybody else. No, but so we need to know our numbers. Let's say I'm an entrepreneur, which I am, and for me, when somebody says you need to know your numbers, I need to know, okay, how many contacts did we make in terms of customer acquisition, right? How much exposure did we have, or contacts did we make? How many appointments? And how many appointments, how many new customers did that lead to? And if I know that for every 3 appointments, we close 1 deal, that's about 30%, we got a 30% closing ratio. And it may be different with social media or email funnels than it is with direct guerrilla marketing and all this other stuff. So when I hear numbers, that's what I think about, because I'm a salesperson. Yes. Or if I've got an e-commerce store, traffic to the site, how many people got to the shopping cart, and jetted or made a purchase. But is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but we're talking about it all. Now, the big companies have learned to leverage all of this and put it in one platform for them to literally be able to see what's going up and down, right?
A dashboard.
Dashboard is what they call it. But what we do is we specialize in data strategy, because all of the things cannot be that important. Right. There's a lot that you have to cover. You just listed like 10 things. Now, are all of those that important?
They're not equally important.
Are they all equally important? No. Is there a priority to what your company wants or what your people want? How would you know that? unless you have a strategy to figure out what is most important for your clients, what is most important for your company. So, you know, are you running 10 metrics? Because if you are, I guarantee you're missing something. You know what I mean? So let's break it down to the 3 and let's see across the board what's working and what's not. And from there, you can move and be able to really get the most out of your data. Do you know what I mean? So that's
100%.
just,
Now I'm curious to know, because I'm very much a sales organization, and I think about like a e-commerce store or something. But you mentioned a logistics company. So talk to us about what you did with maybe turnaround times or logistics as it relates to data science.
And I think too that there's a difference between knowing numbers and then understanding what that means and how that should change how you move. Because it's like you were talking about contacts and things. So, okay, I have a 30% close rate, but that's different maybe in the winter than it is in the spring. Why? And what can I do to maybe bring that winter close rate up, or what can I do to cover in the spring for what? See, so it's about, it's taking it a step further and saying, okay, why did this happen? What's the pattern? What's it telling me? And then how do I get what I want by using this information? With logistics, so if you have, and honestly, trucking companies are doing a lot more of this by, tracking how, number one, tracking how long the drivers drive, because there's a limit on that. Tracking how long it's taking somebody to get somewhere. What's the best route to get there to cut down on time? Weight of doggone trucks when they have to go through checkpoints. All of those things are important to become more efficient, and that's really kind of the name of the game. If you are a company that, let's say you're a store that buys products wholesale and then sells them to customers, it's important for you to know how fast these products are leaving your shelf so that you can always stay stocked on the good stuff, on the stuff people want. You don't waste money on the stuff nobody want, right? And you make sure that you have your okay, when do I need to re-up on this? I know I need to re-up on this every 3 months, but I got to re-up on this every 6 months. And those types of things really just kind of help you to increase that efficiency, which increases your margins. You spend less money, you make more money. I mean, that is the goal, right, of business. Spend less, make more.
The best analogy, and we've used this in most of our talks, is looking at what people are doing. Okay, so when you go to Walmart, right, it's going to be low prices, right? Because that's their metric.
Yep.
And they really just have one real metric, which is leading to what? Low prices. Is the store always going to be clean? Maybe. Are you always going to have a cashier present? Maybe. Maybe not. But are you going to get the lowest price possible? Probably. And they're going to match it? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Publix.
Yeah. Different store.
Different.
Again, metric, where shopping is a pleasure. We're tagging that, meaning, please, fund. But at the end of the day, you understand what I'm saying? These are the things. Their metric is, it's got to be a pleasure. Is it going to be the cheapest? Nope, probably not.
Because you got to pay for all them people to be at the
registers.
You
got to pay for the pleasure.
Right, you got to pay for the pleasure.
But that's what it is.
But at the end of the day, we know where we're going and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Does it matter they're not the same? They don't have to have all the metrics. They just want one. So we have to tell each and every, and we're giving up too much tea again. Oh my goodness.
No, this is good. This is good.
And again,
I'm going to stop you in a minute.
Well, like you said, it's in the talks.
It's in the talks. But, at the end of the day, this is the thing. Every business has their metrics that they need to
know, number one.
Hyper focus on.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you're good.
Well, and I love what you said, you got to know the numbers, but then you have to be able to interpret the numbers and make it work for you. Whatever it is you want, what the end goal is. Hey, so where can people get in touch with you, or should they just go straight to the LinkedIn page?
So, yes. If you want to talk to BIT Nashville, LinkedIn is always a great thing.
So Blacks in Technology Nashville.
Blacks in Technology Nashville on LinkedIn.
Okay.
You can also email Nashville at blacksintechnology.net. that gets straight to us. And then if you would like to be a member, you can join on the global website, which is foundation.blacksintechnology.net. And you can join for free and then choose your chapter. So if you're in the Nashville area,
Rachel Winfree too, we have the same tags if you want.
Say it one more time.
For Rachel and Winfree.
So for your firm, your data analytics firm,
it's Rachel and Winfree. That's our tags for roster.
That's your
for
tag
everything.
For Instagram, for Facebook.
Rachel and Winfree. Yeah, I love it. Sounds like a law firm. You know what I'm saying?
It is a firm, so you know.
Yeah. Okay, so before we close out, I want to ask you guys a question because you do work with businesses and entrepreneurs, and that's primarily our audience and who we speak to and who we service. So what advice would you give? And you guys have already kind of given some advice. But, what one nugget or takeaway can you give an entrepreneur if they're just starting? Because a lot of times as an entrepreneur, I know when I first started my company, it was just me. And I was in my third bedroom making calls all day, trying to set appointments, right? Trying to sell something. I wasn't thinking about tracking numbers and data and all this stuff. But what advice would you give somebody who is just starting their business as it relates to data?
Okay. You want me to take it? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. So it doesn't have to be, I know all my numbers. Just start simple. Start with a Google Analytics platform. They start for free. And just start. And you're going to mess up. Okay. But the more you do it, the better you'll be. And I think a lot of us see all of these different people commercializing their success, but they're not commercializing the failures. Because at the end of the day, that's what made them where they are, not the successes. So just start and fail often, all the time.
Yeah. That's good. Now, you dropped something. I don't know if everybody caught it. Google has a what now?
Well, I mean, you can go to Google Analytics and start your free platform there.
You can start a free platform with Google Analytics. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, so you can use that as kind of a tracking method or platform.
There's
for
so
yourself.
many free to start stuff. It's insane.
But what about like a CRM though?
Oh my.
I mean, wouldn't that be? Is that kind of the same thing?
Well, I mean, CRM is important, yes, especially in starting off to literally track what you're doing. But you can link it to Google Analytics. All of them link up now because we're in an age where ETL is a real thing. So you can always plug and play, but start somewhere. Yeah. Like, just start. Yeah. That's my advice.
Yeah, gotcha. And what have you seen the biggest, mistakes people make? I know you're going to say they don't start, but what? They don't start nothing. I guess, is there a common theme or thread that you see among entrepreneurs that you're like, listen, don't go down that road?
We don't talk to each other.
Okay.
Because, believe you me, if you get in certain circles, someone will tell you, well, I had a horrible experience with, we don't talk to each other. And if we did, we would know kind of what to do.
Yeah, I love it. And that's why y'all created the community. That's one reason probably, so we could commune and converse and talk it out. Man, I appreciate y'all coming in. For sure. We had a great conversation. You guys are super sharp, and I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm going to go join. If I haven't already, I don't think I have. And make sure you join too. Hey, we get this question all the time with the Nashville Black Chamber. People hit us up who are not black. And they say, well, I'm not black. Can I join? So please address that.
Yes. And I do say at events because we collaborate, with events with other organizations, NTC and WIT, and all of those members are not black, right? So I say, listen, no, you don't have to be a black person, because sometimes that is a misconception, right? That, I'm not black. So you don't have to be a black person to join, but you do have to be invested in the advancement of black people in tech.
Yeah. Let me just, before we close out, we gotta address this for a minute, because there is a narrative, some people really believe that when you have an organization for black people or for another ethnicity, Hispanics or Latino or Latinx or whatever, that it creates divide, it creates division, right? And it's almost like reverse racism. I don't think it is, but you get people who say things like that and saying, well, why should we, pour resources into the advancement of black people in technology? We should do it for all people, So what do you guys think about that? What would be your feedback on that?
I'm just going to be 100.
Please.
I just feel like that's redundant.
It is.
And I don't want to offend anyone because I truly get that you don't want to be excluded. But typically, we're excluded. So we're creating things when we're not. And for anyone to say, hey, well, this should be all people, well, that's redundant. So...
And you guys know the number, like you said, it's 3%.
3%.
Right. Representation.
We have a long way to go here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and we had the president of Women in Technology of Tennessee on, we recorded an episode with her. I don't think we've dropped it yet. But she was talking about the impact that women have had in technology and what the numbers look like there. And I kind of asked her the same question. So I just think that's key because a lot of times we get lost in, we take it personal. You know what I'm saying? And we need to make sure that, hey, we can collab, we can work together, and we can make this work. Because when we do come together and collab, that's when we get our best results, I believe.
Yes.
Thank y'all again. Guys, if you're not subscribed to the podcast, make sure you do that, especially on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel on YouTube and or anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever. Make sure you're following us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, Tech Don't Sleep. And make sure you follow these young ladies as well on Instagram and social media. And give us your handle one more time.
Okay, so for Rachel and Winfree Consulting, all of the handles are always going to be Rachel and Winfree. LinkedIn, Instagram,
Rachel
Twitter.
and Winfree.
Yes.
Winfree with an I. Okay.
Yes. And if you are looking for Blacks in Technology Nashville, and Blacks in Technology Nashville on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, we are BIT Nashville.
Gotcha. And the global website is
blacksintechnology.net.
Gotcha. Go join, pick Nashville if you're in Nashville. But if you're somewhere else, join in that city. All right? Appreciate y'all. Hey, listen, we got some crazy events coming up. And if you're watching this before March 17th, which you're probably not, so I'm not even going to talk about that event. What I'm going to do is tell you how great that event was. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to do this speaker series event every quarter. We're going to bring in a crazy successful entrepreneur, and they're going to talk about how technology helped grow their business, give some insights, tell their story, free food, great networking. So make sure you come out. Look for that event every quarter of this year. Thank you to our sponsors. Hey, we got Your Six, we got Aircall, we got NEC, and Comcast Business. So thank you so much to those guys who help us get this podcast up and running and sponsor our events. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie. Can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie. Can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie. Ain't no Chico, just be smooth.